What's up, Gooners? Welcome back to the channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button because we've got 3 crucial stories today about Arsenal's transfer plans and injury updates. Let's dive straight in. Gooners, Andrea Berta is planning for Arsenal's goalkeeping future, and he's identified a 20-year-old who's already proven himself against us. According to Gazzetta dello Sport, Arsenal are very keen on signing AC Milan goalkeeper Lorenzo Torriani. Now, David Raya remains the long-term option for Arsenal, make no mistake about that. But Berta is doing what every good sporting director should do, planning ahead and identifying potential successors or competition down the line. Torriani has been added to Berta's list of targets and could become an option during next summer's window. The 20-year-old Italian youth international is currently playing for Milan Futuro in Serie D, but he could be sent on loan to a Serie B club in January to get more senior experience. AC Milan will decide his future next summer when they discuss his potential pathway into the first team. But they know Arsenal are waiting in the wings, ready to pounce if Milan don't give him clear opportunities. Here's what makes this story fascinating. Torriani has already auditioned in front of Mikel Arteta. During Arsenal's pre-season tour of Asia, he absolutely stunned us. In just 24 minutes of action, Torriani made 5 saves. But that wasn't even the impressive part. During the penalty shootout to determine the winner, he stopped 3 penalties. One of those penalties, saved from Arsenal captain Martin Odegaard. That's how Torriani humiliated Odegaard and caught Arsenal's attention. Arsenal ended up losing that match 1-0 in regulation and were genuinely frustrated that they couldn't score past this Italian youth international. It's clear the goalkeeper is highly rated at Milan, and it would be a big coup for Arsenal to sign him. One of the key jobs for newly appointed scout Maurizio Micheli was to find a long-term successor for Raya. Torriani appears to be near the top of that list. This could also mean that Kepa Arrizabalaga gets moved on by Arsenal just 1 year after his £5 million arrival from Chelsea. Kepa's been a solid backup, but if Arsenal are targeting younger keepers with higher ceilings, his time at the Emirates might be short-lived. Look, this is textbook smart planning from Berta. You don't wait until your starting goalkeeper is 35 and declining to start looking for replacements. You identify young talent early, track their development over multiple years, and strike when the opportunity is right. Torriani is only 20. He's shown he can perform under pressure against top opposition, and if Milan can't offer him a clear pathway to their first team, Arsenal will be there with an attractive project. This one's worth monitoring closely. Now let's talk about Kenan Yildiz, because Arsenal just got a major update on the Juventus starlet's future, and the price tag is eye-watering. Yildiz has recently come out of a spell of poor form to provide Juventus with 3 goals and an assist in his last 3 Serie A games. He's also delivered decisive passes in each of his last 2 Champions League outings, underlining just how important he is to the Italian side. But here's the situation. Yildiz has been locked in long-running contract talks with Juventus that will have a massive impact on his future. Although his current deal runs until 2029, if Juventus aren't successful in these negotiations, the likelihood is that the Turkey international will leave to one of several Premier League suitors, and Arsenal are at the front of that queue. Giorgio Chiellini, the sporting director of Juventus, has spoken publicly about the situation. He said, "Kenan has a long contract with us. Everything can't be resolved in a week. Our shared desire is to continue together. We know how important that is. We want to live up to his status." So Chiellini is playing it cool, suggesting there's no rush and both parties want to continue together. But reading between the lines, those contract negotiations clearly aren't going smoothly, or they would have been wrapped up by now. Here's why Arsenal want Yildiz. It's all about his attacking versatility. Though he's primarily played as a number 10 for Juventus this season, a role filled at Arsenal by Martin Odegaard and Eberechi Eze, he can also feature on the left wing. And that's a position Mikel Arteta wants additional cover for. But a deal won't come cheap. Although Yildiz has an estimated transfer value of €67.3 million, his long contract at Juventus means Arsenal will have to pay a premium. Juventus are reportedly ready to demand €100 million. That's roughly £87 million. That's an absolutely massive fee for a 20-year-old, even one as talented as Yildiz. And here's where it gets interesting. Data analysis firm Sports has grave concerns over how strong a fit Yildiz is for this current Arsenal side. Their career advice tool gives Arsenal a club fit score of just 59 for the former Bayern Munich youth. That suggests Yildiz would struggle to develop due to Arteta's formation and style, and he would also lack playing time given the competition he'd face. So we've got conflicting information here. Arsenal clearly want him and are willing to pay big money, but the data suggests he might not be the right fit for how Arteta plays. That's a concern. Personally, 100 million euros for Yildiz feels excessive. Yes, he's talented. Yes, he's versatile, but he'd be competing with Odegaard, Eze, Martinelli, and potentially others for playing time. Can Arsenal justify spending that much on a player who might struggle to get consistent minutes? From Chiellini's comments, Yildiz will have time to make this big decision. Contract negotiations will drag on, and Arsenal will be watching closely. If those talks break down completely, Arsenal will be ready to make their move. But at 100 million euros, they better be absolutely certain he's worth it. Alright, let's finish with some injury news because Gabriel Magalhaes is very close to returning for Arsenal before the new year. According to Hand of Arsenal, Gabriel is not expected to be ready for this weekend's match against Everton. That's disappointing, but not surprising given the nature of his thigh injury, but he could be back for one of the games against Crystal Palace, Brighton or Aston Villa later in December. Arsenal will be eager to have him back as soon as possible, but he's likely to be very carefully reintegrated into the team. You don't mess around with thigh injuries, they can easily become recurring problems if you rush a player back. The Gunners have really missed Gabriel despite having plenty of defensive options. His absence has shown just how important he is to this team. Piero Hincapié, Jurriën Timber and Christian Mosquera have all struggled to match his authority in defence. It's not just about defensive solidity, though that's obviously crucial. Arsenal have also lost their threat from corners with Gabriel out. He's become one of the best players in the Premier League at attacking set-piece situations, and that dimension has been badly missing. During Gabriel's time out, Mikel Arteta has also lost William Saliba, Ben White and Mosquera to injuries at various points. That's really limited his defensive options and forced constant reshuffling of the backline. And this brings me to an important point. Ahead of the January transfer window, Andrea Berta must seriously consider signing a new right-sided defender. Currently, Timber is Arsenal's only fit right-back option. That's a massive concern because he's at risk of being overexerted over the next month. White is out for around a month, which means all the pressure is on Timber to stay healthy. If Timber picks up even a minor knock with no other right-back available, Arsenal would be in crisis mode. Arteta would have to get creative, maybe playing Lewis Skelly out of position or shifting a centre-back over. Neither option is ideal. This is why Berta should be actively exploring right-back options for the winter window. Even a loan signing would help ease the burden on Timber and provide insurance in case of injury. Look, Gabriel's return will be huge for Arsenal's title push. When he and Saliba are both fit and playing together, Arsenal's defence is virtually impenetrable. Getting Gabriel back means Arsenal can return to that dominant defensive level we saw earlier in the season, but the club can't ignore the right-back situation. It's a genuine vulnerability right now, and if Timber gets injured, it could seriously damage Arsenal's title chances. January reinforcement is needed. So there you have it, Gooners. What do you think, Gooners? Would you take Torriani as Raya's future replacement? Is Yildiz worth 100 million euros? And which right-back should Arsenal target in January? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an Arsenal update. Until next time, Gooners, come on you Gunners!